It's time for Sunday dinner.
Welcome to Sunday dinner. Well, it's fall here in Texas, the weather's starting to get cold, and my wife has been asking for pinto beans. With that, we thought it would be a great time to share one of our favorite recipes in our family, and it is our Cajun-inspired Borracho Beans. This is sure to delight the entire family. It is an incredible meal all in itself, and we look forward to sharing it with you. With that, we have all the ingredients right here in front of us. I'm going to go ahead and go through these now. First, I'm going to start with our pinto beans. This is 32 ounces or 2 pounds of pinto beans. And as you can see, we've already had these soaking overnight and getting those hydrated. Very important step in the process. Next, we have two 32-ounce containers of low sodium chicken broth. We have a 12-ounce package of thick cut bacon. We have 1 pound of Andouille sausage. We have 1 pound of tasso. And let me stop right there. A lot of people don't know what tasso is. And what tasso is a heavily Cajun seasoned pork, and it's smoked. And this adds a ton of an incredible flavor to our beans, and we love to put it in there. You could use a ham hock instead of this, but this gives it that more Cajun flavor over more of a Hispanic type flavor. And we're kind of melting these two together. Next, we have about 6 jalapeños. We have a whole clove of garlic. We have 3 onions. We have a bunch of cilantro. We have some fresh ground pepper, kosher salt. We have some pinto bean seasoning by Fiesta brand. And a lot of you, if you can't get the pinto bean seasoning, it may not be available in your area. You could substitute this with just garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, paprika. That's really what this pinto bean season is. In Texas, this brand is readily available and makes beans fantastic. Next, we have a couple cans of stewed tomatoes, and what makes this borracho or drunken is 2 cans of Dos Equis lager, which gives it a great flavor. All right, with that, before we go any further, I really want y'all to go to our YouTube page, subscribe. That way when we share our videos, you're seeing them first, as well as go to our Facebook page, give it a like and share, and tell your friends about it most importantly. All right, our next step here, we're gonna get all of our vegetables prepped and ready to go. This is a really simple, super simple recipe that comes together fast and truly is a family delight. So we'll join you back here in just a few minutes. Welcome back. As you can see, we've already done a rough chop on our onions. This was right at 3 onions. We've then de-seeded and cut our jalapeños into rings, as well as did a really coarse chop on an entire head of garlic. It's probably about 8 or 10 cloves at least. We like a lot of garlic in this recipe, so use as much or as little as you want. We use about 10 cloves. Next thing you see here, we have about that 12-ounce package of bacon we've cut into pieces. And the first thing we're gonna do here is we're now going to saute our bacon, get this pretty much fully cooked, and then we're gonna go ahead and cook our onions, jalapeños, and garlic as the next step. So here we go. All right, so I already have this pan kind of heating up. As you see, I've kind of have this bacon in kind of bite-sized pieces. And we're just gonna saute this down and render as much fat as we can out of this bacon. It doesn't necessarily need to be crisp, but the important piece here is we get all of the fat out of the bacon. Is that oil from the bacon is what we're gonna use to saute our vegetables and create a wonderful base for our borracho beans. Okay, we're gonna let this slowly cook. This is probably gonna take about 5 to 8 minutes to get the bacon completely rendered out before we add our vegetables. All right, so we'll join you here just in about 5 or 10 minutes as this bacon starts to render down, and you'll see when we add our vegetables next. All right, as you can see, our bacon has truly rendered down. It's really perfect. You can see all the oil, which is we truly need to cook all these vegetables. And now we're gonna go ahead and add our coarsely chopped onions. All right, as well as our jalapeno rings. This is about 6 jalapenos. All right, we get this really nice and mixed up with our bacon. Oh, the smell is incredible. I know my son would love for me to say this, but I wish we had smell-o-vision. All right, there's one other step here I'm gonna do. This is gonna cook for about 5 minutes until the onions gets nice and translucent. But I'm now gonna add some kosher salt here. I'm not gonna add a ton, but this kosher salt is gonna help bring out all of the juices and help this the onions release all of their incredible flavors. All right, so I'm gonna mix that up really well. Perfect. Now I'm gonna let this I'm gonna continuously slowly stir this until the onions become translucent. Then we're gonna go ahead and take our garlic, add the garlic, cook it for about 1 more minute, and we're gonna take it all out and set it to the side as a next step. So we're gonna keep cooking this, and we'll join you back as soon as these onions are just about ready. Okay, so our onions, bacon, and jalapenos have been cooking for right about 5 minutes. You can see the onions are starting to become a little bit translucent. The jalapenos are starting to soften up a little bit. Now is the time to add our roughly chopped garlic. We're gonna go ahead and put all of that in there, make sure we get it all, and go ahead and incorporate this. This garlic only needs to cook for about 1 to 2 minutes in total. And you can just now smell it. The second it hits that pot, the garlic smell and aroma is incredible. Okay, this is gonna cook for about 1 more minute. We're gonna let the garlic go ahead and release all of its incredible essence, and then we're gonna take this and set it aside in a bowl, and we're gonna reserve it. And we'll go on to the next step from there. All right, for this step, I have brought my son in here, one of my favorite sous chefs, to help me get this reserved. And as you can see, the garlic's now been cooking it's actually been about 2 or 3 minutes. The garlic smells incredible. It's nice and sauteed. Now it's time, I went ahead and shut off the fire, and we're gonna go ahead and dump this in a bowl and reserve it for our next step. All right, Warren, if you don't mind helping me here, come here and I'll help you. There we go. Nice. I'm gonna get all of this out here, and we're gonna add this back. Perfect. All right, thank you, son. All right, now you can see this incredible mixture, which is gonna continue to be an important base for our Borracho beans. All right, now that we have our vegetables set aside and reserved, here is the next step. I want you to pan in here. This is an important part. All of the char that's left from the bacon, the onions, and the vegetables, this is an important part. You don't want to clean this out. This is gonna add layers of flavor, an incredible base to our beans. All right, so as you see here, I've got our beans strained. I actually took a little bit of the beans out, so we're probably using about call it just under 2 pounds of beans. Then we're gonna go ahead and add our chicken stock and our beer. Okay. I'm actually gonna add these together. You just go ahead and pour them on in. And the key here is to get about 1 inch or 2 of liquid over top of these beans. And if you need more liquid, you can add more chicken stock as needed. And while I called for 2 32-ounce packages of chicken stock, it's really what it takes in your individual pan to get the right amount of liquid to bean ratio. As you can see, this is probably gonna be just about perfect. There's gonna be these 2 32-ounce cans of chicken stock. Again, I'm using low sodium. You can choose to use whatever you want. You can use bone broth, whatever. And I'm gonna go ahead and add this whole other 12-ounce bottle of Dos Equis. All right, with that, I can come here and estimate, and boom, I've hit the bottom. You can see it's right around 2 inches over the beans. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start this fire back up. I'm gonna put it on high, get it back to temp, and here is our 3 heaping tablespoons of our pinto bean seasoning. We can go ahead and incorporate that into the broth right now. All right, so I'm gonna get this nice and mixed up into the broth. All right, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get this up to a nice small rolling boil. Once we get it to a rolling boil, then I'm gonna back it off to a simmer. And we're gonna simmer this mixture for about 1.5 hours before we go to the next step, which is gonna be adding back our vegetables and other meat products into this sauce. So we're gonna get this up to a boil, and we'll join you back here shortly just to show you what we're looking for in regards to temperature. Welcome back. As you can see, we now have the pinto beans up to a pretty good rolling boil. I'm gonna turn this down to about medium low, and the goal here is to get it on a nice small simmer. And that's what we're gonna look for, and we're gonna cook these for about 1.5 hours. So now that I've got that, you can see now it's starting to just slowly simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and put a timer on for 1.5 hours. I'm gonna stir these occasionally, call it every 10 to 15 minutes, just to make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom, and we'll join you back in about 1.5 hours, and we'll show you what the liquid does. It's gonna slowly reduce as we cook. So See you in about an hour and a half from now. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half, and as you can see, our liquid has definitely reduced quite a bit. We've been stirring it. We've actually added, I would probably say, another 2 cups of chicken stock in the process, which is important always to monitor your liquid based on how fast or how slow your simmer is going. Okay, all right, so now you can see here we have our andouille sausage and our tasso. Real important, we cut these into bite-sized chunks. That way when you have a bite, it's just the right size. It's not too big, not too small. You can see we have our reserved vegetables from earlier as well as our stewed tomatoes. We're really gonna go in with all of these now. I'm gonna go ahead and pour my stewed tomatoes in. Make sure you get them all. I did strain the liquid out of this as a note. Okay, there's our stewed tomatoes. I'm gonna stir those in. Now I'm gonna stir in all of our vegetable mix from earlier and get all these flavors to start incorporating. I wanna make sure you get all those juices from there. Slowly mix that in. And last but not least, oh man, this looks delicious, is all of our incredible tasso and andouille sausage. I want all that to go in. Now you can see what we're talking about. This is really an incredible, hearty Borracho bean stew. This is not just a side dish. This is truly a main course. All right. Now that I get this all nice and mixed, we're now gonna get this back up to a nice simmer, just like before, and then we're gonna cook this for slow and low for about another hour and a half to 2 hours. In the middle of that process, about an hour left, we're gonna cut up our bunch of cilantro and add it to the mix. Other than that, that's how easy this is. Quick, easy, and delicious. Join you soon here in about an hour, and we'll get the cilantro in. We are right at the 1 hour mark since we added all of the vegetables back and all the meat. And as you can see, it's starting to reduce and really come together. It's been at a nice slow simmer. And now that we've been at an hour, we're gonna add that entire bunch of cilantro. We've already coarsely chopped this. We're just gonna add the entire bunch into our beans and incorporate this nice and gentle. Very nice. Smells delicious. So we're gonna cook this, we're gonna keep this at a simmer for about another 30 minutes to an hour. We're gonna keep watching it and we'll be ready to plate and serve. This smells delicious. So the beans have been cooking for another about 45 minutes to an hour after we add the cilantro. Everything has really come together fantastic. We're ready to plate now. Now I'm gonna give you a couple scoops here for this bowl. Make sure to get a little bit of all the different bites, the jalapeno, the tomatoes. There we go. Some of the sausage. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna serve this with some great cornbread we made. And look at this. This is truly incredible. This is really a special meal, a great meal for the fall, the winter, really hearty, really incredible. This meal really comes together as an influence of a couple different cultures. We live here in Houston, Texas with a great Hispanic culture as well as on the Gulf Coast and all the Cajun influences. And this is what we've done. We've combined all these influences together to make an incredible pot of Borracho beans, which I'll call Cajun inspired. With that, we're ready to dig in. I'm really excited to share this with you. Make sure to check below. We'll relist all the ingredients. Please tell us how you like this, and most of all, try this out and give Sunday Dinner a like and subscribe. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining.